At Cushetunk today. The trail you're seeing that starts right here is part of the white trail that goes up to the ridge. Please be aware that it is closed about half the year for bald eagle nesting habitat, so please respect the trail when it's closed. I'm going to be doing the yellow trail out to the other side of the white trail up this lane. It's probably about 2 miles. It would be a moderate hike because of elevation and some rock issue. And it just starts right up there by the first telephone pole at the top of the knoll. Probably will take about an hour and a half to do a circular hike if you come here. As you can see, we're in Cushetunk. Things are beginning to foliate. Again, it's not the densest of understories, even though there is a lot of green around me. Cushetunk is a northern slope off of Round Valley, so it doesn't actually get the direct sunlight. Cushetunk, I've been told, is an old Indian name that means mountain of hogs. So if it's to be believed, back in like the colonial days, hogs were released here as a means of and location to forage. This is a shot in Cushetunk. There's truly nothing to see, but if you listen, there's a beautiful singer occurring. The bird is called a wood thrush. It likes understory. And again, it's been singing in the background. Actually, if you can catch it, and I'll try to zoom in, an ovenbird is actually flittering around right now. I just don't know if I can get on it. Okay, if you saw that motion flit, that's an ovenbird, a warbler, who is also in these woods and does a call called teacher, teacher, teacher. These trees in front of me are tulip trees. Back in my old dendrology days at college, my teacher always called these the king's trees. These trees, being tall and straight back in the colonial days, were prized for that fact. And there was actually a job for a forester to go through the woods marking tall and straight trees and putting an X on them, because that reserved the tree to be a mast for one of the king's sailing ships. Hence the name, the king's trees. Okay, the tree in front of me is black birch. If you notice on the bark, it has these horizontal stripings. It's one of the key characteristics that give the tree away. It's not a big tree. It's actually would be called an understory tree. But it's also known for the fact that with birch trees, if you take a fresh branch, you can chew on it and it will give you the flavor of birch beer. Birch beer is made actually from grinding the roots of these trees, if I remember correctly. Okay, as I told you, foliage is coming out. What this is showing off is that the buds of this young beech tree are breaking open, and you can actually see the leaves emerging from the buds. Buds are the source of the new leaves, or they can be the extension of an existing branch. This is just one of the other trees you will find throughout Cushetunk. If you notice on the bark how there are these wide, deep valleys between the grains of the bark, which That's the field mark for this tree. This tree is Chesnut Oak, and that wide division is referred to as a furrow. It is an indicator of poor soil, and again, being on the north slope of Cushetunk, it offers a lot of the preferred ground for this tree. This is one of the little rock runs through the park. Again, it's a slope, it's a hillside off of Round Valley. There's a lot of diabase formation, a lot of rocks out through this park. These are all diabase, hard igneous rock, and they serve as home to many reptiles in the county. I've caught a few species of snakes here. I've even found box turtle in these woods. So if you do come out on a warm day, it is worth your while to keep your eyes on the rocks to see if anything might be out basking. It recently rained, and as you can see at the base of the tree, there's been some foam that's formed. This is nothing to worry about. What's happened is as the rainwater moved down the tree trunk, it picked up some chemicals from the bark, and the turbulence as the water has moved down over the bark has added air into the moisture. At the base of the tree, this aerated moisture has foamed up, and that's what we're seeing at the base of the tree. It's nothing else is going on. It's not insect. It's just foam that has formed from aerated water and chemicals as the rainwater has gone down the tree. Okay, this is the intersection with the blue trail and the yellow trail. The blue trail runs out all the way to Pickle Park by the Reddington Municipal Building. If I remember correctly, it's about a 2.5 mile walk in one direction. But I will be continuing on the yellow trail. I'm focusing on the hole in this tree to indicate that there are cavities throughout the park. They are made typically by woodpeckers, but afterwards they can be used by screech owls. And I've had luck in this preserve calling for screech owl. On one occasion I even heard one calling when I just pulled into the parking lot. So be aware that there is nocturnal activity around. And again, what you look for on your daytime walks are the locations that they might be using to hide from you. All this heavy, thick green leaf is skunk cabbage, and where I am at is at the end of the white trail before it hits the power line cut. But this area is a wetland site in Cushetunk Preserve. It's usually referred to as a seep because all the groundwater flows gradually and gets caught here in a little pocket, and it will seep back into the ground, or again, seeps can be created when the water is sort of moving out of the rock fields from what little soil there is, seeping from the ground and creating a fresh little wetland mountain area for amphibians and other wildlife to use. Okay, again, nothing to see, but there are some birds singing. And if you just heard that call, it sounds like drink your tea. And that's the call of the eastern towhee, or rufous-sided towhee, depending on which version of a book you may have. It's a species that kind of likes the edge habitat because I'm about to come out onto the power line cut. But again, another song you might hear in Cushetunk on one of your visits. I don't know if you can see them, but there's black dots moving in this little body of water. These are tadpoles. I can't tell you which species, but this is a vernal pool here at Cushetunk. And again, frogs will use it to stay away from fish predation. And it exists long enough for the tadpoles to develop into the juvenile frog. I'm probably looking at over 700 tadpoles in the whole pond. If you notice a little bit of yellow in the ground, that's a butterfly. It was a cloudless sulfur. I've also seen a little blue one, which I believe is a spring azure out here in the meadow.